Alright guys, welcome back to the channel once again, and today we're gonna be talking about, as you can see on the screen, how to insert bulk data in databases. So we're gonna talking about we insert the data into the DB like one by one, or whenever we create, so it automatically insert by using the ORM, the libraries we use into our application, but the manually, not the manually, by the SQL queries. And if you have to insert multiple rows of data, but the chunk of data in a one shot or in a batch, so how you can do that. So there are multiple ways to do that, so I'm gonna be describing you all those things, how I do and how I did that. So if you have seen my all the tutorials, so maybe you would have seen I've created the one video recently about the queue system in the Nest.js. So I shown over there how the queue runs. So one of the way is that easily you can run by queue, and if you have to let's suppose you don't have application, you have to do it manually. So how you can do that? But people don't do this manually. People run the queue system or the application for ingesting the data into the database. But we're gonna be doing that over here. We're gonna be looking at the process which we can do that manually, and also you can do that by your code automatically, seeding the data into the database. So how you can do that? So first I'm gonna be showing you in the Python. We have a pandas library, so you can just read any kind of file like the CSV, JSON, or any Excel file. So whatever file you have, so you can read the data from there and then loop it through and generate the queries like the SQL values, and then you can just copy paste those values into your database or somewhere, and then run the query, so you can insert the data immediately in one single shot. Okay, so you can just modify the data. So I have this my SQL database over here running. Okay, and this is my code which is running for Jupyter notebook. So this is also running, so we're going to be using this one for now for the Python side. So let's suppose, import pandas as pd. Okay, so I have already one JSON file, so it has many rows over here. So we're gonna be using this one, and the modification we're gonna be doing a little bit into that. It's just a demo purpose, so I'm just gonna be modifying this data. So this is this data, and then we're gonna be inserting it to the DB. So let's suppose first we have to read the data. So data equals to pd.read JSON. In the JavaScript, you don't have to read the JSON like this. You can just import it directly and then use it. Okay, so just read JSON. Okay, and then just copy the path of this one. So copy path, paste it over here. Okay, and like this, and after that just read the data. Okay, so you see all the data coming over here. So let's suppose I have to loop it through. Okay, so I have to loop it. So for d in data dot values. Okay, and after that I can just print the data, print d. Okay, so you see all the data is coming in the format of list over here. So by default the values are just getting converted into the list, and all the rows are listing down one by one when I'm printing the data. Okay, so what I have to do, I just have to create one file over here. So file equals to open and c.txt. Okay, let me just create one file over here, otherwise the path name will be different. It will get created somewhere else. Okay, so I don't want that. I just copy this path name, just copy the path from here and just go over here. So I just copy this path. Okay, so and I have to do it in the right format. Okay, and the new line I'm just gonna be keeping is empty. Okay, and then we're gonna be printing it. Okay, again, so the data comes over here. So now file dot write, I have to write it. So what data I have to write? So f string, we're gonna be creating the f string. In the f string we have d dot values. So no, we have d. Okay, so we can just pin the d over here, d dot 0 value or something. I can just do that for now, and then slash and g. Okay, so that's what I can do. And if I hit enter, so let's see what we got in the c.txt. Okay, we didn't get anything, so let me just check why. Should print something over here. So you see all the lines, the 0th element of all these have been printed over here. So I have to remove this g thing from here, I suppose, and then hit enter again. So we should remove that g, run. Okay, yeah, so you see it has been removed. Now it's coming in each and every line. So what data it is printing? Like this data. So the first element of each and every row, so 5.1 4.9 or something like that. Okay, so you see the 5.1 4.9 something like that. So all these data is being added, like the first element of, let's suppose I have to add another element, so I'll just put the comma over here and the d1, okay, d1, okay, comma d2, like this. But make sure you have to put it like this over here. Okay, let's hit enter and let's see it has been ran through it or not. It takes a while to update over here. Okay, so you see it takes a while to update in the file. It has to write. So all the uh, three lines have been added over here. Okay, and let's suppose my database is over here. So I have this database and I have these columns over here. So let's suppose I have to insert any values over here. So insert into test dot users. Okay, so test dot users. Okay, and then I have to just add the columns like the keys over here. So I'm going to be adding UUID, comma name, comma age, comma address. I can keep it empty for now, and then values. So value is going to be every line. So let's suppose for the demo purpose I just added my name Abhishek, comma, and the age could be 23. Okay, and the name, okay, I did it wrong, something over here. So UUID, you have to provide the UUID over here like this. I'm just typing something, okay, and then there is no any validation check over here like this type of UUID should be, so it doesn't going to throw you the error in the SQL. But by default we put the UUID as a type. So if you put the random string at the UUID, so it gonna throw you the error. Okay, so I haven't done that. It's just for the demo right now. Okay, and let's run this query and see it's working or not. Okay, so if I run it and it is successful, and now let's just select this one and over here, so you should see my data has been added. Okay, so now what I have to do, I have to enter the 3 rows only. I'll add the city as well, so I'm gonna by default keep it as Delhi over here. So Delhi, and I think it should work as well. Let's try it out. Query runs. Okay, I did not add the city over here. Okay, now let's run it. Okay, it runs. Let's select this one again, and then over here, so you see another row has been added, just recently added. Okay, so now we have to just create this values from into that file. Okay, so let's go over here, py.dnb. okay, I'll just comma, so I'll just put my name always over here. So you can just you should have this file which consists of name as well, so you can just use the name. So I'll just put my name. Okay, and then this one, it should be age. Okay, the age will be whatever the number you have, so you just put that number over here. And into the city, I'm just gonna put Delhi. So mostly I'm just looping through the data, but the most of the data is being static over here. And into the UUID, we can just put any like D3, okay, and then any number over here like this. So I think it should work. So let's run it. Okay, so if I see, so it has created the data. Okay, but there is a problem over here, so I have to just close this bracket as well and put the comma every line, after every line. Okay, so this is the format you have to create, because that's how you're just gonna be doing the copy and the paste over there. Okay, so I just run it, and let's see, and it takes time to get updated. I'm not sure how long, but it should be get updated. Let's run it one more time. Okay, so it has been updated. Now what I have to do, I just have to copy, okay, all the data. I have to copy, Control C, and just go into the database over here and just paste it. Okay, paste down below and then run it. Query doesn't throw any error. Just go over here, insert, and then run it. So you see 150 rows inserted in a single second. Okay, now if I just select this one and then hit enter. So you see a lot of data has been added over here, and the timestamp, all those things are coming by default because I have added a default to current timestamp. So by default it's taking that one, but you see the UUID is coming like the float number something, but it doesn't matter. We can create the we can keep the UUID as well, also in the MySQL by default, so it can take the by default property from that. Okay, so it will take the UUID like this. Okay, but this data which matters mostly. Okay, so this is the user data that we have to maintain. Okay, so this is how one way. This is the manual process, which like if you don't have any resource or anything and you have to insert the data, so you can do it by this locally. Okay, another process is that you have to run the queuing system. Okay, so how you're going to do that? Okay, so if you see this code, like npm run start dev. So this is the nest.js. Okay, so this is what I've been showing you earlier before, like I've been giving you some brief about the nest.js, how to use it and all those things. So I created many videos on that, so you can go and watch out, and you can watch out in the previous video or the playlist of the nest.js, so you can see that later. But I've been showing you the queuing system into that. So if you go into the user controllers, let me just find that code. So it should be somewhere over here. Okay, so you see this queue we were using, user queue and control F. So you see this one, this code we were using to running the queues and then showing the data on the another side where the listener exists. Okay, so the queue listener was over here, so queue processor, so which we call it like queue processor or something. The do something code is that like the function you create another one, and when the process comes over here one by one, then you can just insert the data into the DB one by one, or you can do into the batch size as well. Like what is the meaning of batch size? Batch size, like you can just create a chunk of data in a single queue and insert it like 100 rows of data in a single batch, and you can insert all those data all together like we did from here, from this query. Okay, so same kind of thing you can do from user.service. So this is the queue in the nest.js. So this queue system, you queue video, like you can see into my previous videos which I have listed over there into the playlist, so you can see that one how it works. But let's suppose you have multiple users, so const users equals to this dot user repository dot find. Okay, so users, and we can just keep users by like this. Okay, so by the users we can find, and then we can use add users, like we can just remove this one, size. Okay, users dot length. Okay, we can keep it like this. We need to include over here because it's an async operation, so we have to remove this and this. Okay, so users, and the users dot add, you queue dot add, and then element, like you need a user, so every user gonna be your element, and then the element user data you're gonna be passing into this one. So this is like we are getting the data from DB and then inserting back. So it's just for the demo purpose, but you would be having some other data into somewhere file, and then you're gonna read the data over here. So let me just comment it out. Read the bulk data here and put it in the queue. Okay, so you have to read the data from somewhere over here. So it could be a file, it could be somewhere like stored. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, so you can just get it from another DB to insert it to another DB. That's also what you can do. So you got the data from here, put it into the queue, and the queue will execute and then go over here like into this processor, and then here you can just insert the data. So let me just go back. We use this processor over here, so add the processor. So there's a processor.users. So if I run the queue, it should work. Injectable processor, okay, processor, and after that you just copy this code, transcode one over here and go over here, and then when you run the queue, it should come over here, process comma job. Okay, and add user.module processor. Okay, remove. So I removed it. Okay, now it should work. So what we can do now, we can go into the Postman and we can just hit this query. Okay, so let's go into the controller, see if there is no auth card included. So users.controller, okay, users.controller, users.create and users/me. So I'll just use this one, and I just you remove this validator guard, or localhost 8000 slash API slash v1 slash users slash me. Let's see. Okay, so I run it and I get the data from the database. If you see, all the data is coming and it's going. Okay, let's go find all, and it's running over here. Okay, and it's coming into this progress, job.progress. Okay, and then console job.data. I'm showing you. You see, this log is coming from here. Now what I want to what I want to do, const user equals to this dot user repository dot create. Okay, what I have to do, just I have to copy the name equals to dot data dot name. Okay, I need to get this just. Okay, so job.data dot name. Okay, and comma age equals to job.data dot age, comma address job.data dot address, comma city job.data.city. Okay, so I think this should work. So job.data, let me just make it job.data, comma const new data equals to job.data. Okay, and then make it define the type, it's like any type, and just make the job.data over here like this, new data. Okay, let's do it and let's try it. Let's see how it works. So await this dot user repository dot save user. Let's see if all those data, whatever is coming from DB, it's getting inserted again into the DB or not. Okay, so make sure that data which you are reading over here, it should be from somewhere like file, and this is the automatic process. Like whenever you try to insert the data, you just hit the query, hit the API, read all the data, run the loop, add into the queue, and then one by one all the queue gonna be executed, and then insert all the data into the DB. So let's try this one. Okay, so I just do this. Okay, I got the data, and let me just check if I got my data more than 160 or not. So I have 168 now, and now you see I got 333 data inserted into the DB in a single shot. It just took a second, like millisecond, and the 333 rows has been added now. Okay, if I run it again, so you see 333 rows. Now if I run it again, so it should goes to 600. Okay, so if I just enter again, hit the API again, and then let's see, you see it just double the data, so now it's 663. So this is how you can automatically ingest the data using the queue system in the JavaScript. So this is the code like which is using Java. You can use any kind of queue, so which holds data for a while. So this is what I'm using, the Redis and then Bull library, so which is, although both the things are interconnected, so Redis is holding the data for a while and then again inserting the data. So if I show you in the Redis server right now, so the Redis is running on localhost 8001. So if I show you the Redis, so all the data would be there. Okay, so this is the Redis, and let's see if the data is over there or not. So you see all the data is over here. So if I click on that data, so you see all the data and the process time over here. So every user data is stored, because I'm not cleaning the data for the Redis, so it's going to be stored for a while. But if I have to clean this data, because whenever you are inserting the data, so make sure you are cleaning that data as well, because it should not fill the Redis. Okay, because you are not storing over here, you holding the data for a while. Once the process is finished, just clean your Redis. Okay, clean your Redis database. So what I can do over here, I can do something like this dot, this dot, data, this dot, user queue dot clean, and the case number 5, I think. And now if I run it again, this one, it should clean all the way. So now I run it. One, we have 733. Now you see only the 55 rows exist over here because it has cleaned like all those data which are coming like more than 5 seconds. Okay, so the for last 5 seconds it just keep cleaning all those data. Okay, so now let's see our database, how many rows are inserted. So it's 63. Now if I refresh, so it should go to 1000. So you see the 1000 rows has been inserted. So that's how we can insert the data automatically, and this is what I have shown you. So this is the Redis which holds the data. It's running on my local host right now, but you can host anywhere this Redis DB and then use it as a, like, the port name gonna be your 6379. So this is the UI overview of the Redis, so you can see the Redis UI as well if you have hosted it. Otherwise 6379 is the Redis port. Okay, and then the domain, you can use anything like whatever you want to use where you have hosted, and after that you can just run the process like this and it will insert your data in a single sort without any overload. Okay, so it doesn't get overloaded, it just add into the queue, and once that one process is finished, another process gonna be running. So I hope you guys learned something from this video. We're gonna be meeting it to the next video. Thank you so much thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.